fully understand what it's about.
Every time I touch the ball, I'm thinking I'm going to score.
And this is our chance to write our part of the story.
The wheels, ball, goes, touchdowns!
Like, he looks like he wants to take someone's head off.
Oh, picked up! Into the mix! Dante McClellan!
There are 3,600 inches on a football field, and the Tigers just needed 6 or 7 more in order to go to overtime against Vanderbilt. Welcome into the Tiger Kickoff Show. Jacob Siciliano joined alongside our wonderful Columbia, Missourian beat reporters, Quentin Corpuel, Zach Sweet, Chase Jeems. Fellas, you took the drive down to Nashville. That must have been a rough ride back home.
Well, mostly because we saw a Ram truck that was on fire on the side of the interstate. That was not great.
Yeah, that was wild.
And it was raining the whole time, so that wasn't great. But for the actual game itself, Mizzou kept shocking itself back to life, giving itself numerous chances to win the game. Matt Zollers stepped in for Pribula, who went down with an injury in the third quarter. I thought he filled in adequately. We'll get to more of that later. But they were literally inches from potentially tying the game, or if they wanted to go for 2, win that game, come back from a deficit, and escape Nashville 7-1.
Was that burning truck just like the Tigers' red zone offense?
A little bit, because it was, well, actually the red zone offense was not on fire. It was pretty cold. You never want to,
actually.
yeah, so pretty close to the opposite.
The red zone offense was the rain that was coming down on our drive back yesterday because it was cold. It was not good. I mean, Missouri has to simply find a way to finish more of those drives when they're down there. But you can't start talking about this game without starting with that play where Pribula goes down on 4th and goal to start the third quarter. And then Matt Zollers comes in, and everyone at that moment in the press box was thinking this one's probably over. Matt Zollers definitely showed what he had, definitely stood in there and made a heck of a couple plays. Finished the game 14-23, 128 and a touchdown. We'll talk about him. We'll get into the whole quarterback situation. But that was impressive. And Missouri's defense was equally impressive. Missouri's defense gave them a chance to win that game. Aside from one blown coverage where they were able to get an 80-yard rushing touchdown, Missouri's defense kept them in the game the entire time.
Yeah, we've said this team hates beat writers. That was very apparent over the weekend. I mean, I agree. Like, you can't expect much more out of Zollers in that situation. It was very impressive for the true freshman. He looked very poised in the pocket and kept leading the Mizzou offense to give them a chance late in the game. And again, the defense, you can't really expect much more out of that unit either. I mean, Vanderbilt has been one of the highest scoring offenses in the SEC, and to be able to hold them to 17 points is impressive in itself. Like, yes, you have the 80-yard rush, but those plays are going to happen when you're facing Vanderbilt. So I think overall, disappointing loss, but at the same time, they did pretty well with all things considered.
This was the biggest game for Vanderbilt in a long time. It's just the second top 15 matchup ever for Vanderbilt taking place in Nashville. We jump to the second. Nothing good happened in the first. Robbie Meyer, good from 39 for the Tigers. They're up 3-0.
Surely he would convert his next makeable kick, right? Right?
Surely, Quentin. Next drive, kicker's good early. Vandy from 38. Brock Taylor, it's tied at 3.
Yeah, 2 teams that came into this game matching each other statistically did just that in the first half with 2 field goals.
Jump to the third, Diego Pavia. It's tipped by Chris McClellan. Damon Wilson with the pick. Tigers football.
Yeah, this is one of the best defensive plays of the night that we'll see. Great job by McClellan to get a hand on that ball, and then Damon Wilson is able to grab it right there. Just continues to make such a big impact on this defense, and they're holding Pavia well so far, at least.
Central Arkansas's quarterback had better stats against Pavia in this football game. But Pavia will still tell you he's a Heisman contender. Anyways, we jump to the third. Pribula can't get it in. Turnover on downs. But if you think that's bad, it gets even worse. Bo is hurt on the play and carted off with a cast. He does not return.
Yeah, I mean, it's you.
Eli Drinkwitz said after the game that Pribula suffered a dislocated ankle, and MRI on Sunday revealed some torn ligaments, but not a fracture, which is pretty rare. He will be out for an extended period of time, so for now, it's the Matt Zollers Show.
The Matt Zollers Show, indeed. 4th down, Zollers finds Joshua Manning for 15 yards. Tigers in the red zone once more, still tied at 3.
Heck of a play from Zollers to stay poised in the pocket. They went 4 of 5 on 4th downs today. 4th downs kept Missouri in this game. Zollers comes in and immediately leads Missouri on a 12-play drive.
But surely they'd make the kick from 29, right? Surely.
That should have been a
to answer the question, no, he did not. You got to make that field goal there.
They did not. Don't call me Shirley. Anyways, the very next play for Vandy. Trouble. MK Young, an 80-yard touchdown run. Vandy takes the lead 10-3, and it's trouble in Nashville.
Mizzou's run defense was excellent for almost the entire game. It was just this one play where they got burnt. You could argue there was holding on the outside, but nevertheless, this was a game-changing couple of plays from the Meyer miss to the MK Young touchdown.
Tigers need their true freshman quarterback to come up big. He does. Zollers to Jude James for 6 yards. What about the connection these guys have?
Another 4th down conversion, and the freshman finds the redshirt freshman. Oh my God, Zollers leads him down the field right when you count Missouri out and keeps him in the game.
12-play, 75-yard drive. This is Roberts, but it's taken away by C.J. Hurd. The Tigers give up the ball to Vandy.
Yeah, he's just stripped that right out of Roberts' hands. He finds a way to get it there. Just when you think Mizzou's going to get some offensive momentum here, the drive ends right here with that play by Vanderbilt.
Well, that was one of the key plays in this game that ends up leading to this drive right here for Vanderbilt. Pavia down to the 1-yard line, and Vandy just knocking at the doorstep.
Mizzou's defense had a lot of pressure put on it by the offense's inability to convert in the red zone and move the ball for much of this game. They tried their darndest to hold Vanderbilt, but as we're about to see here, they just couldn't, although that was a pretty sweet goal line stop there by the defensive line.
Yeah, stopped, stripped by Trotter. The question was he down? The play ends up going to review. You got both coaches looking. Big stop for the Tigers, but is that football free?
Yeah, how about the fight from Missouri's defense with their back up against the wall on the 1-yard line, and they just don't stop fighting. There's no quit from Josiah Trotter. He rips the ball out. Unfortunately, it was that Young who's on his back there? Yeah, but regardless, the runner's down, and Vanderbilt's going to retain possession.
Call was overturned. We stay tied at 10. Pavia keeps it on the option. A 1-yard rushing touchdown. Vandy up 17-10.
The Mizzou defense tried its best there to stop them, but eventually it just became too much. Pavia finds his way into the end zone. Not a whole lot of offense from Vandy today, but he does find a way to get in there.
And this is the play that you're going to be seeing for a long time. Zollers Hail Mary. Kevin Coleman, he caught it. It was originally ruled incomplete, reviewed as a catch, but inches, millimeters, metric system, whatever you want to call it, short.
Who better to throw a Hail Mary to than a graduate of St. Mary's High School? A great idea, a great target by Matt Zollers, who got the ball to the goal line, but Kevin Coleman Jr. was just, as you said, inches short of putting this game within one, giving Mizzou a chance to either tie the game and send it to overtime or to win it with a 2-point conversion.
Vandy wins it 17-10. Here's what Drink had to say on that last play.
And then obviously that last play, catch the ball on the 1-inch line. So, disappointing to work so hard and come up short, but that's part of life in this league, and we'll bounce back, and Mizzou will be proud. You got a bunch of fighters in that room. Those guys are fighting their butt off and played really hard. I mean, they got a fumble on the 1-inch line, it got overturned, but they're doing everything they can to give us a chance. And then the ball gets thrown to the 1-inch line. So, we're giving ourselves opportunities.
To game and life of inches, let's take just an extra look at how close it was for the Tigers to send this game into overtime. Again, the Music City millimeter, just that close for the Tigers from a Music City miracle. Kevin Coleman, just so close.
We would have had two Kevins completing Music City miracles in Nashville. That would have been pretty cool. If 5th down rules applied and your shoulder and helmet were deemed okay in terms of what crosses the goal line for a touchdown, yes. If 5th down rules applied, that would have been a touchdown. Mizzou would have gotten a chance to tie or take the lead. But the lunacy from that day in 1990 didn't carry over to Nashville, and Mizzou dropped to 6-2 on the season.
Yeah, I mean, how about the fight from your quarterback, though? True freshman Matt Zollers. I know we've mentioned it like 6 or 7 times so far, but Matt Zollers was awesome.
What did I do?
Jacob opened the floodgates. For the record, Jacob opened the floodgates here. But that was incredible for Matt Zollers to come into a game like that, to have a moment like that, and lead them down the field multiple times and give them, put them in a position to potentially win the game. They were so close on that Hail Mary. Kevin Coleman just needs to be a yard further, and they would have tied it. Would have sent it to overtime.
God, how many jokes can we make right now?
Probably 6 or 7. Probably 6 or 7.
Stop it.
All right, final score.
But yeah, I agree with you. Zollers putting them in that position to even have the opportunity is just so impressive in itself. I don't know what Coleman really could have done in that situation. Maybe he finds a way to get in the end zone, but it's just hard to look back and expect anything else from him. But it's hard to look at games and say just one play is what gave them the loss. But in this game, I wouldn't say it was, but gosh, it was that close.
Well, let's talk about something that potentially could have changed. Let's back up a couple plays. The intentional grounding that created a 10-second runoff for the Tigers and moved them backwards. Did that change this, or would they have been playing something different? Like, how big of an impact did that intentional grounding have at the end of this football game?
Yeah, I think it definitely changed because that gives you an extra play, at least, to try and get the ball closer for either a field goal or a shorter Hail Mary attempt where the chances of getting the ball to the end zone would have been higher. So I absolutely think that changed things.
Yeah, I mean, they lost 10 seconds at the end of the game because they didn't have a timeout. So
10 seconds is
it's
a long time.
But I also think there were a ton of variables that went into that, like Diego Pavia going down at the 1-yard line like we just showed you. And on the plus side, a 2-minute warning, that would have given Zollers plenty of time to go down the field. Instead, what do you have? Only like 1 minute and 20 seconds to form that last drive. Yeah. So there were a ton of factors that go into it. Of course, the intentional grounding is kind of sucky. But by the rule, I think it was the right call.
I mean, we could debate a lot about the refs in this game. I think a lot of the calls were right, but there were so many penalties in this game. For both sides. It wasn't just Mizzou, it wasn't just Vandy. It was both teams. They can complain pretty equally. You got to be able to limit penalties, but sometimes it was hard not to. There was a lot going on in this game.
There were a number of bad calls on both sides, whether it was offsides, tripping penalties that we don't normally see, and we saw twice. Yeah. There were a handful of plays where the refs might not have gotten it right, but I definitely think it affected both teams. So I don't think you can pin this loss on the refs at all.
One of the biggest what-ifs in this game is going to continue to be if Bo was able to stay and finish out this game. Here's what Drink had to say on the injury of his quarterback.
Bo has no broken bones, but he did have an ankle injury that had to be popped back in, so don't have a timetable for his return, but it could be a while. So I'll update y'all as soon as we know for sure. With that, I'll open up for questions.
So you guys were there. What was your immediate reaction when you saw Bo go down with that injury?
Well, I thought the rest of this game is really unknown. We just hadn't seen Matt Zollers play that much football, but as Zach had talked about, and as a lot of people have talked about after the game, Zollers played pretty well, especially considering the circumstances. Yeah, a lot of his downfield shots had to do with the fact that they needed big gains in little time. But at the same time, he was making a lot of throws that Pribula just hasn't looked as comfortable making at times this season. And so I think maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, Zollers is going to be exceptional. But maybe right now, I think there's just a lot of uncertainty, even with considering how well he played.
And we'll touch on Zollers and his play in the future, too, in just a bit. But back to the injury on Bo. When you saw him go off in that boot, Zach, what was your first feeling?
You just feel so bad for him, man. I mean, especially given everything that's happened around this football team and losing Sam Horn to a season-ending leg injury in week 1, and then Bo Pribula gets his opportunity and he shines through 6 starts, and then it was so sad to see for someone like that who transfers in, has waited for his opportunity, finally gets his opportunity, and then I'm not going to say that was a dirty play because I don't think it was. I think that the Vanderbilt player is simply trying to pull him back at that point in time, which is a football play, but it just sucks to see him get rolled up on like that. And then when he went down and when he got taken off in an air cast, couldn't put any weight on it in the wheelchair, everyone knew it was bad instantly, so it definitely wasn't. It wasn't good to see. It was terrible.
Yeah, completely feel bad for him. And I think when that injury first happened, I immediately am thinking, like, what is the rest of this game going to look like? Is this going to affect the rest of the game and what this outcome is? And it might have, but I do agree that Zollers led the team as well as Bo and maybe even look better in some areas. So, it's hard to give out the hypotheticals on what could have happened if Bo didn't get hurt, but we'll see how long this injury takes for him to come back, but it could be a while.
Yeah, I thought about the season right away. I know you mentioned the game. I thought about the season. The first thought for me is Missouri's season all of a sudden looks completely different. And what is a true freshman capable of with playing a half on the road and 2 road games coming up? So, it was a season outlook thing for me.
Well, the beautiful thing is, at the beginning of this season, Zollers was the Tigers' 3rd quarterback in the competition. And now, here, we get to see the future of Missouri Tiger football at the quarterback position in Matt Zollers. Y'all mentioned his stat lines earlier. Fantastic. 213 yards, 20 for 29, 2 touchdowns, QBR of 93.2 on the season so far, threw a touchdown pass in the game as well. What did you guys even expect this to see Matt Zollers come into the season?
Well, we knew he had the arm talent. We just weren't sure how he was going to look in this kind of setting that we saw on Saturday. And he looked really poised. He looked unafraid. He did not look like a deer in headlights. Again, he was willing to push the ball down the field. He was making things happen with his legs, both extending plays behind the line of scrimmage and picking up positive yards himself. I was extremely impressed.
Drinkwitz called him the quarterback of the future before the season, and everyone was like, yeah, he should be the quarterback of the future, but let's see how the next 2 years go. You still have Bo Pribula for 2 years. He is the quarterback of now and the future. The future looks ever so bright now with Matt Zollers. I mean, the way Quentin touched on it, but the way he stayed in there, the way he looked poised. And I'm not going to rip on Bo Pribula at all. I'm not. But there were times where Pribula would look flustered in the pocket, and Zollers would pick up those blitzes and stay in the pocket and make those throws. He converted 3 4th downs in a quarter and a half. He outpassed Diego Pavia's entire game in just a quarter and a half. I mean, it was remarkable to see what he did in that environment, in that type of game, to come in the way he did and look the way he looked. I was impressed. And I think a lot of Missouri fans would agree that the future is ever so bright now.
Yeah, I think usually you might be a little more worried when your starting quarterback goes hurt and your true freshman comes in, but just because of how great Zollers looked and how comfortable he was in the pocket, I think the concerns are a little less than I would have expected at the time. And I am interested to see, once the defense actually prepares for him as a starter coming into a game. I mean, Texas A&M has been so dominant. It's a dominant defense to play. I'm curious how that translates in that game.
Do you think the Tigers' offense changes? Zollers more of a pocket passer than Pribula?
Well, I think he can just unlock a new part of the field that Pribula didn't really test. And granted, a lot of that was because, as he explained to us himself in a press conference, defenses after week 1 were playing very far back. And Pribula was simply taking what the defense was giving him in terms of taking those 0 to 10-yard throws. Zollers did not look afraid to test the 20-plus yard down the field marker. Again, it was more out of necessity, considering the clock, considering the score. But again, he did not look like a deer in headlights. And he also knew, I want to throw in, he knew when to throw the ball away. That is a sneaky, important thing as a quarterback, which a lot of professionals don't know how to do a lot of the time. Zollers made a handful of really key throwaways that prevented any sort of catastrophes happening.
The way he went through his progressions, I mean, that touchdown to Jude James is the 3rd read on that play. And he hung in there on a 4th and 2 where they needed it. He hung in there. His first read wasn't there. He didn't take it. His second read wasn't there. And he found James on a crosser and delivered a great ball to him in a place where only Jude James could make a play on it. I mean, that's stuff you don't see every day from a quarterback. That's just natural, raw talent right there. And Quentin talked about it, but the plays where he just threw the ball away, I mean, that was awesome to see from Zollers.
Yeah, and the chemistry with the receivers, too, didn't look much off from what Bo has with them, too. I think it's really impressive for him to be able to do that and come into this game. If he's going to make decisions like that and be smart about it, Mizzou's in good hands, I think.
And I think it's important they don't oversimplify the playbook either, because especially with these games going up, they need to let Zollers rip the ball downfield.
And Zollers, he did rip it downfield, just inches short, and it cost the Tigers some spots in the AP poll. Let's check it out. So, another Tigers loss, the second of the season. Last time Tigers lost to Alabama, we did a thing, who's to blame? What's the reason for the loss? So, we're going to play it again. We're going to bring out our good old Addams Family hand because, you know, it's spooky season now, and we're going to figure out who to blame. So, we added an option, especially with what happened to Bo Pribula. The injury is on the board, along with the Tigers, Vanderbilt, and our good old best friends, the refs.
All right.
So we'll start with you, Quentin. The Tigers' red zone offense. Who is that on? Is that Vandy, Mizzou, or on the officials?
I don't think it's on the officials. I think it is a combination of both Vanderbilt walling up on their own doorstep and Mizzou failing to execute near the goal line, especially that drive where the 3rd and 2 play action pass gets blown up. Pribula almost throws an interception, and then the fake pitch, the bread and butter, the old reliable for Mizzou since 2023 doesn't work for, I think, the first time. I can't remember that play not working. And so I think it was a combination of both Mizzou and Vanderbilt.
The inability for the Tigers to move the ball early in the game. Again, it was 3-3. Neither team scored in the first quarter. Moving the ball early in the game, who's to blame for that?
Again, I don't think you can blame injuries. Nobody was injured yet. I don't think you can blame the refs, really. I mean, there were a couple ticky-tack penalties, but those went both ways. I think it's on Mizzou and Vanderbilt. Again, like Quentin said, in the red zone, Vanderbilt's defense held stiff. Missouri's defense held stiff, but Missouri's offense just couldn't get anything, couldn't get the ball moving. Bo looked flustered. The run game was pretty stagnant. There just weren't those explosive plays that you need to move the ball downfield.
That 80-yard touchdown, who's to blame?
Oh, you're setting up Chase. Come on, man.
Well, no, he threw Chase a lot because this is an obvious answer.
What is the obvious answer? The Mizzou defense?
Oh, I would have said the refs. I think
Of course you would have said the refs.
I think Carnell got held for sure.
Out for heads.
It's definitely possible. I just still think, as the Mizzou defense, you can't really let up an 80-yard rush there. I don't know. The refs, you can put a lot on them this game, but I'm not going to fully put it on.
Can you blame the offense for back-to-back failed red zone opportunities, and then that momentum, the defense comes out flat on a play too? Can you blame them?
I also could. I think.
Could blame Bobby Meyer.
You definitely could blame Meyer for that 29-yard field goal. And I'm not going to sit here and say the play calling was completely terrible, but I do think at times there were some interesting decisions with the play calling, especially that Josh Manning RPO. I'm not sure that one worked.
Well, the Tigers might need their old guy, Tyson Ellison, kicking field goals at this point. He has a new episode of Sideline Study Hall for us.
Diego Pavia was the man to stop this week, and Death Row defense did a great job stopping Diego Pavia. That wasn't the Heisman performance, but it was enough to make the college football playoff that much farther away for the Missouri Tigers team. The defense did everything that they could in this game to make sure 2 was contained. You see cover 1 here on the screen. That means man coverage at the top of the screen too. Cover 1, that's only 1 high safety because everybody else is down playing to run, and you've got 2 different players who could end up being the quarterback spy here on this play. So as it plays out, Diego Pavia steps back, 1 linebacker's here for the running back, the other one's playing the low hole. That means he's a spy, but also he can't throw to the middle of the field because there's a player there. That receiver scribbled out. Throw has to go to the sideline, and Toriano Pride volleyball bats it down. Incomplete. Now Darius Smith, just watch him on this play. This man is a defensive end, and he is fast. That's all you need to know. Pavia escapes the pocket and gets caught up to by Darius Smith. That forces the pass to the sideline, incomplete. Now on this play, if you can't get there on pass rush, coaches will always tell you just get your hands up. Chris McClellan does that here on this play. Exactly how you coach it up. And that's an interception by Damon Wilson. Play ends there. He was down by contact, so we won't show the fumble. It was not a fumble on that play. This is the long 80-yard touchdown. It's just an outside run. How does it become an explosive? Well, first of all, you see all of the blocking on the perimeter. They get to their assignment. You could say that's a hold. There's a hold on every play in football. Then Josiah Trotter gets caught on his block, and now this triangle is really how the play springs into an explosive. The safety's supposed to play off the leverage of these two players. But if it's not clear, he doesn't know which gap he's supposed to fill. So he tries to come in between the players, gets caught on a block. MK Young escapes to the outside. So now Mizzou has a new challenger stepping up as starting quarterback. That's Matt Zollers. But we haven't seen much of a sample size of him. Let's figure out what type of quarterback Matt Zollers is. Through the film, 4th down and 4, very tough situation to get thrown into. He's gonna escape the pocket, sees Josh Manning getting open. Even though there's a defender, this throw by Matt Zollers throws Josh Manning open. Downfield, way more than 4 yards on 4th and 4. That's a great veteran play by the true freshman. Now here on the red zone, Jude James is going to escape. We've seen Brett Norfleet run this play too. Pretend to block here on the defensive end, create some contact, then drag route across the middle of the field. Zollers finds him again on 4th and 2. Touchdown, Jude James. They've had a very strong connection already in their young careers. I expect that to continue. 4th and 10, another 4th down where Matt Zollers is successful. He finds an open gap, but he knows the situation. It's 4th down and 10, so he can't tuck the ball and run. On his feet, throwing while moving, he finds Kevin Coleman down the field between two defenders to convert on another 4th down. But he is still a young quarterback. Here's a mistake, a fumbled exchange between Jamal Roberts and Matt Zollers, and that's really all it is, just a fumbled exchange, a youthful mistake. And CJ Hurd, that's the start of the beginning of the end for the Missouri Tigers as they would go and score on that next drive. Very good coaching here by Vanderbilt. 3 defensive players to one side of the offensive line. They said, if anything, we're going to make sure Matt Zollers cannot escape the pocket and scramble to his right to unload a Hail Mary, because that's what's coming on this play. So Matt Zollers has to heave this ball across the field, way downfield, and it still ends up just being 1 yard short. The arm strength is there, but now it's desperate times for Mizzou. You talk about 3 lives to get to the CFP. You've only got 1 life left and 1 quarterback left out of your main 3. Will Matt Zollers find success? He's got 2 weeks to plan for the number 3 team in the country. Jacob, back to you.
I have no lives left, and if I was a college football coach, I would be out of a job with like 36 mil in the bank. Quentin got his pick wrong this week too, though, so I'm feeling good about myself here and take it to the grave. Quentin, take it away with the wheel.
Yeah, I thought Damon Wilson would get at least 2 tackles for loss. He only got 0.5 against a Vanderbilt offense that hadn't allowed a lot of TFLs.
Oh, no.
And I will be running around the columns for a very long time. That's great.
Sweet's passing because he got Hardy right.
Yeah, never.
Now it's on to Chase.
Man, I said Bo Pribula interception, so circumstances are tough there.
You shouldn't have picked
I was
against
1
Mizzou.
week off on that.
You shouldn't have picked against Mizzou.
Oh, we'll be running together.
Or is that
the other thing?
I think it was more on this side.
We'll have to go and review the tape on it, but you could be running with Quentin. I just can't get anything right. 2 rushing touchdowns is what the Tigers have had all season long, but they didn't get it.
Take.
And I am eating peppers again. Let's take it to the grave. I hate this segment.
I love it.
It's just punishment and pain. But hey, it was a lot of pain for the Tiger fans that made the trip again so close. You have hope with Zollers, and you have obviously a very disappointing ending. The Tigers down to their last life with a gauntlet of a schedule remaining. We have a bye week, so we're not going to show you that schedule, but we're going to talk about what the future of the Tiger looks like. Where are we right now with where the Tigers are here in 2025 and beyond?
It's definitely interesting because we just need to see more of Matt Zollers. Again, with the limited sample size we have gotten so far, he's looked pretty good. Can he do that against a Texas A&M defense that is really, really good and a team that is a top 5 team in the country? That remains to be seen. It's just a lot to ask for a true freshman backup quarterback.
Yeah, you've got to run the table. It's as simple as that. It's all it comes down to. You got to win 4 games in a row coming off this bye week with a true freshman quarterback. But if there's someone capable of doing it, if Zollers plays the way he did in that second half and improves, given a week to prepare, a week and a half to prepare, I think anything's possible. I think they definitely can get it done.
Yeah, Drinkwitz said they're probably out of the SEC championship, but the fight for the college football playoff is not over yet. So they do have to have, their margin of error is so low, it's got to be perfect, but it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Obviously disappointing for Bo, but again, for the looks we're getting at our true freshman quarterback, it's going to make for an exciting rest of the season with Matt Zollers. That's it for the Tiger Kickoff Show. We'll keep you posted here as the Tiger season continues on and Missouri searches to get inside that CFP Top 12. Thanks for watching.